What's up, peeps? Hope you're doing good. So, this video is one of them things I've been trying to, put my finger on it. You know, the state of affairs by, today's day and age, 2019. And the things that some of us can relate to in terms of the whole dating game and stuff like that, and relationships, marriage, cohabitation. And I get it, it's something that only most people that have gone through it, or in this case most men that have gone through it, will truly understand it. Now, I'm trying to be as open-minded with this as I possibly can to do this video in kind of like a pure truth, if that makes sense. And it is that dilemma. It's a double-edged sword, right? You see, what we got going on over here, by over here I mean in the UK, is something I've spoken of before. So, say for example, you're cohabiting with someone, girlfriend, to be precise, and you have an argument, and she gets far too emotional and phones the cops. Or worse yet, gets far too emotional, you leave, nothing happens, and then her mum phones the cops. That happens too. You know, sometimes it's not always... There's all sorts of scenarios to take into consideration with that. And this is a truthful thing which, a lot of guys won't get. They won't understand it. They won't see past their angel view, as it were, of that girlfriend. Oh, she wouldn't phone the cops on me, I didn't do anything. Well, no, she might not have. It might have been one of her friends. Because this is the problem that we've got within the society, is we've got the competition amongst the masses. You see, just to kind of divert ever so slightly, you could be quite happy in a relationship with someone, but their best friend likes you to the point where they'll wait for an argument and then maybe try and jump in bed with you. Yeah, I nearly had that happen. Yeah, oh yeah. Besties until a bit of D is on offer. Yeah. No, I didn't do anything. I don't act on shit like that because, you see it happen around you. I saw that happen to mates when I was younger, so it's like, well, you know where it goes. It ain't going to turn to anything good. But the point is this: most guys won't accept that their partner would do something like that, like phone the cops on them. Now, in some cases, they're probably right. But if there's a bit of competition, or if the in-law doesn't like you, it's going to happen. Now, the way that works over here, in terms of the law, and it's first come, first served. So if you're in a relationship with someone, you have a fat row, and then the girl gets up and leaves, you, as the guy, you can actually phone the cops, but then there's a certain stigma attached to that, as we know. Obviously, you start telling your mates, oh yeah, I'll phone the cops. Yeah, you're such a manly man. Oh yeah, look at you phoning the cops. And it's like, well, there's that part of it which people won't get the gist of it. If there's any psychological bullshit going on, or if there's any physical or emotional abuse coming from the female to the guy, they're not going to want to talk about that for starters. And the last thing on their mind is the fear of repercussions of what happens if they either A, stand up to that partner, or B, phone the cops on them. And this is where that other part of the dilemma lies. And whereas a lot of the time the girls do play the victim, the female plays the victim, and can pull on the heartstrings, as it were, of the legal system and other men within social groups. Now, I get it. I'm not saying anything new. I'm just pointing out things that happen as to why men end up going their own way. Because a lot of people aren't quite getting the gist of it. Now, sure, these situations aren't exclusive to every single relationship, but they're obviously happening enough for guys to want to just opt out of relationships, long-term cohabitation, marriage and kids. I mean, by today's standards, and again, that, you know, the standard of women and availability of decent women, you know, this is something that another bit of stigma that I think MGTOW does have, and in a way, right, kind of rightly so. You know, it's like we talk of you know, that unicorn, the long lost unicorn, and all that sort of a thing. And whereas I would say that MGTOW, genuine guys that have decided, you know what, enough is enough. They have had it that bad. They have probably dealt with the worst of the worst and been in all sorts of predicaments as a result of being with these. They might have been 10 out of 10 looks-wise. Personality and psychologically, maybe not so highly rated. But once you've been within that type of girl, you know, once you've had the cops called on you, or once you've had the merry band of baiters come round to offer to kick your head in because you said something to upset someone that had nothing to do with them, you know, it sort of makes you like really question: is it actually worth it? And then with that, you got to look at the problem within the dating pool anyway. You know, the fact that I don't get me wrong, I would agree that we should all strive to become better people in whichever way we can, you know, well, in most aspects, you know, whether it's a better person, having a better personality. This becomes more difficult with age, you know, you get used to being the way that you are, so old habits are hard to kick, you know. Both, you could argue, for kind of like psychological ones, like how you portray yourself among friends and stuff like that, as well as any other habits like smoking and drinking or whatever. They become harder to kick as you get older. The longer you do it, the harder it is. And see, a lot of the girls now, I've noticed, they've got this ideal. I mean, we already know that they set their standards so damn high, they're asking for the impossible. You know, I don't think even that top 20%, I don't think they'd hit the standard. You know, they're always going to find something to nitpick at and find fault with. So, yeah, with that will come a great amount of headache. You see, when that happens, you know, they're going to be forever unhappy anyway, you know, because they're always going to be looking to how to best improve their life. And it's like, one of the things that I've always found interesting is women say, oh yeah, a guy's got to have ambitions. So, okay. But that, you know what I mean, that is such an open statement. Like, ambitions for what? But then you'll find that in most cases the ambitions have to have something to do with them. So they can't even be your own ambitions, something that you want to do by yourself. It has to be something that benefits or suits their lifestyle in one way or another. Whether it's you have an involvement which could, you know, affect the community in a positive way. It could bring a community, like your local town, village, whatever, slightly close together because you do something that has a benefit to that society. And then they will want to jump on that bandwagon and take the glory and take the status, which is why they obviously ask for that. They just want the handouts. They don't want a lot of cases, they don't want to actually put the work in. They just want the status without putting any effort in. Just, you know, it's that by association promotion, right? I was actually sort of thinking, like, you know, freedom of association, that sort of thing. But it's they want all the benefits through the association of the individual that does it, which, in my opinion, is wrong. And in situations like that, and again, we've seen plenty of sort of divorce scenarios where they say, oh, well, I helped this guy do this, that, and the third. And they still manage to take him to the cleaners, even though a lot of the time they were just there on the sideline, looking pretty, or in some cases not so much. But it's a thing. And these are all things that, people have to sort of weigh up and try and get their heads around. And, a lot of people won't be able to get their heads around it. A lot of people don't quite understand why men go their own way. It's pretty much self-explanatory. There's, alright, people can make fun of the way I look, obviously I do it to myself anyway. That's just part of my sense of humour. I will make fun out of myself and anyone else around me, and I will go no holds barred, and I'll upset someone eventually, and oh well, get over yourself. But it's kind of one of them. It's one of them scenarios where it's like, well, there's nothing really in terms of women, I find, that is really worth it. That is really worth putting the time in, and you try and build a future together, and then to think that at the snap of a finger, everything you worked for can be taken away from you. And I'm sure, this is, we say this a lot. It's like, well, yeah, because it's a thing. Some people would say, as we've all mentioned before, oh yeah, you just haven't chosen the right woman. It's like, well, how many times, where do we draw the line? Where do we stop having our lives wrecked? Because, not happy. I can't justify it. I can't. You know what? And I've thought time and time again, but what if? And I think every guy does this, no matter how, air quotes, hardcore MGTOW you claim to be. I think you're all going to sit there and be like, I'm hardcore MGTOW. Then, in the back of your mind, you've got a little something going, she seems different, or she seems nice. And this is when, you start forgetting. It's a convenient forgetfulness as to the society that we live in, and just how easy it is to, I suppose having stuff taken from you and losing someone that you loved in that aspect, in one way is good, because at least they've gone, right? You wouldn't want to be associated with someone like that anyway. If that's their true colours, that's what they're really like. Who'd want anything to do with them anyway? It's like, alright, a bit of expensive punani, do you know what I'm saying? Not worth keeping in the long run. But then there's the other side of all that, which hasn't quite been called out the way it should be, and hasn't been addressed and dealt with the way it should have been, or these situations should have been. And that is the false accusers. The fact that there's guys, not only their lives ruined, but this whole thing destroys families, generations, over false accusations. And the perpetrators of the false accusations, they're never held to account. You might get something in like the local newspaper or the national newspaper, or maybe something on the interwebs or whatever. But that's it. You don't get the, or not you, but they don't get the same kind of ostracisation that men get. They don't get the destroyed life that men get. And everything else that goes with it. The fact that, individual might have kids with another partner or something like that, is then not allowed to see their kids anymore over a lie. And I think a lot of people overlook all these things. They just don't. It doesn't really click in, you know. And so time and time again, we're always going to see videos of guys and girls saying, "Oh, they don't understand why MGTOW are MGTOW. They don't. Oh, they're all women haters." And it's like, well, I can't really be surprised at a guy that's angry who's gone through that. You know, I have said in the past, like, oh yeah, you know, the whole red pill rage thing does get a little, you know, it wears thin, and it does. You know, because I don't know, I don't even know of a right way to deal with it. If I'm honest, I don't think the internet is the best place for it. I really don't think it is, you know. If you want to be genuinely angry, and no, just not the internet. Especially not if associating with MGTOW or red pill. Because it, as I've said before, it does it a disservice. And yeah, it does suck that these are the way things are, you know, in terms of women have been put, you know, before men for years. They always have been. They've always been on the priority list. Men haven't. And now that men are starting to say things about it, you know, this is the sort of other thing. And it's kind of related. I think the hardest part with MGTOW is the idea being, because sometimes I sort of look back at some of the content I've produced and some of the stuff that I talk about, and I do come across as a men's rights activist. The thing is, I'm not an activist at all, not as far as men's rights is concerned, because, you know, the reality of it is you're fighting feminists. I can't be bothered fighting, at least not feminists. It's like, you see all these women, and they declare themselves feminists, and it's like, so straight away you're my enemy. You don't even know me, but, you know. And when they start trying to explain themselves, oh no, I don't hate you. It's like, well, no, you do, because feminism is a whole different agenda. They're just convincing you it's about something else. And you're not happy to go ahead and argue the points. Why do you think so many feminists are now ex-feminists? Because they saw it for what it truly is. And that is just about putting women as a priority, whereas, as I was saying before, they haven't done any of the real work within the society. They don't want to go and be mechanics, work in changing tyres 12-hour days in rain and snow. They don't want to be doing that. They want the office jobs. This is where their 50% equality comes from. It's got nothing to do with the jobs that the average guy does. Emptying bins. Stuff. They don't want to be doing that. I mean, they may do delivery jobs and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's kind of one thing. So when I have these conversations, needless to say, it's just like, well, they don't last very long. I'm just sort of like, whatever. You know, if you're a feminist, this conversation is finished. You know, there's the words that come out of my mouth you're not going to like, and then you're going to say, oh yeah, you men, you're all the same, sexist, misogynist, bigot, blah blah blah. It's like, no, the misandrist here is you, sweetheart. And I haven't even done anything. The only crime I've committed, according to you, is being born with a penis. So this is why I won't debate feminists. I won't even bother wasting my time with them. It's like, no, tell me how oppressed you are. Please tell me how oppressed you are. Tell me what it's like to wake up in the morning and to choose what clothes you're wearing. It's not oppression. Tell me how oppressed you are when you decide to phone in sick because you want to go and have a girly day out with your friends, and some other mug gets to pick up the pieces while you're enjoying your day off. Tell me how oppressed you are. Tell me how oppressed you are when you get in your car and drive down the coast. Spend the day down there with all your girly friends. There's no oppression in the West. And, you know, with that, the closest thing I've kind of seen, which it just sort of came up in conversation today, I'll just wrap this up as quick. You know, Le Tour de France. You have to excuse my French accent. Anyway, moving forward rather quickly. Tour de France, predominantly male. Now, I hate cyclists, so don't even go there, right? But of course, the women. That is a pure man sport. You know what I mean? They do not let women in. They've asked if they can join, and they've said no. Probably because they saw the state of their fucking driving. Sorry, couldn't resist. But it's true. Yeah, well, not that bit, but it's true as in that bit too. I've seen the dents in their cars. Just saying. Yeah. The fact is that, you know, that there's been a bunch of them now, and they've been cycling around France, and they want the whatever organisation it is out there to start up a women's one, you know, because again it comes down to they want all the what is it? Sort of like the prize money, the press, and all of that, and all the roads closed off. It's like they're doing a roads closed off this weekend, and you know it's really pissed me off. Really fucking pissed me off. It's like, for cyclists to do illegal street racing without insurance, and they've closed the roads off. Mate, I want to be closing the roads off my damn self. Who's up for it? But no, seriously, on topic, it's like that they've been complaining to the French body of cycling or whatever it is, and they've been sort of saying, oh yeah, we should be for women too. It's like, well, set your own group up. Don't be going to an already authorised group that's already had it going for years. And it was without females, obviously, for a reason. You should be at the finish line waiting for your trophy husband to turn up. In all fairness. But whatever. But again, this is part of the divide that happens. This is exactly how it happens. You know, it's like we've got all these women footballers. It's like they're nowhere near as good as them. I don't even like football, so I don't even go. I'm talking about soccer, obviously. You know, I'm not into soccer in the slightest, but it's like I can tell just by watching that the guys are far more professional. I don't actually think they should earn what they do. I think they're very overrated. You know, I would like to think that I could get good at kicking a fucking pig's bladder across a pitch and get paid who knows how many millions a year. Fantastic. The truth being, I'll probably die after 20 minutes of running around the pitch, but whatever. I won't go into that one. But again, it's like the women's football team just goes in with the demands, and this is the exact divide. Oh, we should get this because what? No, because what? Nothing. You should have your own group, your own organisation, and stay the fuck away from men's shit. Just go away and go and do your own stuff. That's when you know you MGTOW. Till the next one, stay cool, stay free, and peace out.